We have a lot of folks that ask what a fortified roof is. So I want to take just a few minutes to explain what a fortified roof is and why it's important. It's vital, actually, from our perspective, to consider a fortified roof when you need to replace the roof on your home. A lot of different styles of roofing products. Anything from shingles, which are the most common, to cedar shakes. There are multiple kinds of metal roofing that will meet fortified standards. And there's even for buildings that have low slope, that have a flat roof, there are membrane products as well. So it's not specifically a particular brand or even style of roof. It's more so about how that roof is installed and that those products have been tested and proven to be resilient for hurricanes, for high wind, for corrosion, whether it be the fasteners, whether it be the shingle or metal or cedar shake or low slope itself, or whether it be the glues and adhesives that are used, the nails, as I mentioned, fasteners, even the flashing that we use. All of those products are looked at carefully, and they are determined whether they meet the strict requirements that Fortified has set for fortified roofing products. Fortified is a program that was started by the Institute for Business and Home Safety, and IBHS for short owns the Fortified program. And IBHS is made up of a lot of different members. They're a nonprofit, and the members are insurance companies. There are engineers that are involved at Fortified, a lot of very intelligent people, and they have a very high-tech testing facility in the Rock Hill, South Carolina area, where the fortified products are tested and the methods of installation are tested and ultimately proven whether they will withstand the harsh environment of coastal areas and whether they will stand the test for hurricanes. In many cases, products will meet the fortified standard based on outside testing, so testing that wasn't done by Fortified. For example, Miami-Dade is a very common testing. If a product meets the strict, really considered the world's strictest standards for hurricane resilience, if a product meets Miami-Dade, then most of the time, in most cases, that product will meet the Fortified standards. There are a number of other very popular testing credentials that help products meet Fortified. One of the most common ones besides Miami-Dade is the Florida building approval. We all know, most people know, that Florida historically has been hit by more hurricanes and major hurricanes than any other state. They're considered most vulnerable, so it kind of goes without saying that their standards would be very strict. So Florida building code approval, or Florida approval for short, is another approved fortified standard for testing. The Texas Department of Insurance, or TDI for short, is another testing that a lot of products go through that meet the fortified standard. So just wanted to share a few of the methods that are used to decide whether a product will meet the fortified standard. Again, Miami-Dade is the most common. So we here at Motion, we are an Owens Corning Platinum contractor. We believe that the Owens Corning, specifically the Owens Corning Duration architectural shingle products and supporting products made by Owens Corning are the most resilient. We've had the most success with those products, staying on the roof, staying on the roof decking. And so we prefer and we recommend to all of our clients the Owens Corning Duration line. Owens Corning Duration meets the Miami-Dade standards. It meets most of those standards, as a matter of fact. I'm sure there's Florida building code approval, and I'm sure there's probably Texas approvals as well, but it definitely meets Miami-Dade standard. Shingles are tested differently than, let's say, metal. So shingles are tested based on wind speed, and metal, for example, and low slope roofing, membrane roofing, they are tested based on design pressure. So they decide with a shingle when it's tested, and in order to meet Miami-Dade, it was tested to see how well it would withstand wind speeds. And when they were testing, say, a standing seam metal roof panel, they were seeing how much vacuum or how much pressure that it could withstand. And there are certain failure rates that have to be adhered to in order for the product to be approved. So for us, by far, architectural shingle roofs, so the Owens Corning Duration roof is the most popular that we use for fortified roof. Second would be the standing seam aluminum roof. Aluminum is less corrosive than, say, galvanized metal. And then we also now have a 5V product, which is an exposed fastener, still an 032 aluminum product that has become very popular as well. It's a little less pricey than standing seam, so it kind of meets the gap between shingles and standing seam metal, the 5V product. Fortified roofs are essential for coastal areas in our opinion and in our experience. The primary focus of a fortified roof is to seal the roof deck. So underneath the shingle, underneath the underlayment, we have some type of wood product that is connected to the rafters of your home. And if water is able to make its way to that wood, whether it be plywood, whether it be OSB, or whether it be nominal lumber, you know, a lot of old homes still have 1x8s, 1x10s, 1x6s, sometimes tongue and groove, sometimes just butted against each other as the roof decking. But no matter what that product is, if water makes it to that product, eventually that product is going to fail and allow water to move its way on into the home. And that's where we see, and the folks at Fortified at IBHS have tested and see catastrophic damage, and we start seeing folks that are displaced from their home. So the reason that a fortified home is essential for coastal communities is that we want to seal that roof deck. And the way that we seal that roof deck, Fortified gives us a few options in doing so. We prefer the ice and water shield, so the fully adhered membrane underlayment on the roof, whether it be shingle or whether it be metal. We prefer that. That's the method that we most likely follow and most commonly follow is the sealed ice and water shield membrane underlayment. There are other methods that if you go to fortified.org, you can see other methods, but we prefer the ice and water shield method for sealing the roof deck. And then Fortified pays attention to the type of fasteners that we're using. For example, in coastal areas, if you're within so many feet of salt water, so if you're close to the ocean, basically all the barrier islands come into play here. I particularly live on Oak Island, and our office is near Oak Island. So all of Oak Island comes into play where you must use a stainless steel nail to install the shingles. And the reason for that is because over time, if you use a non-stainless steel nail, that nail is, even though it's under the shingle and shouldn't be exposed directly to water, it's exposed to the salt air. So eventually that nail is going to begin to corrode and rust. And as it does, the weld between the head of the nail and the stud of the nail will give way. And so when the hurricane comes and the wind starts pulling at the shingle, the head's going to pop off the nail, and then the shingle is just going to be able to lift right off of the roof. So they are strategic about fasteners at Fortified, and that's something that we have to follow and we have to prove. I believe it's essential for homes to have a fortified roof because it is accountability. So when you are replacing a shingle roof in North Carolina for another shingle roof, then typically, then it depends on the jurisdiction, but typically in most jurisdictions, unless it exceeds a certain dollar amount, there is not a requirement for a building permit. And even if there is a requirement for a building permit to replace the roof, in most cases, it is up to the contractor to attest to how that roof shingle was installed. In other words, most municipalities don't allow their home inspectors to get on the roof. So whether it's inspected or whether it's not, there's typically no accountability. No one has put their eyes on it. But with the fortified roof, there's a series of evaluation that takes place and photos proving that what the methods that are required to be followed have been followed, and also proving that the materials that have been approved to be used for the fortified roof are what were installed on the property. And so Fortified requires in their documentation, in the evaluation process, they require pictures that prove that the photos are from the roof replacement, both time stamped and location stamped. and they require that a bill of lading or an invoice that reflects the address where the property is located is on that proof, or they require evidence, proof that the materials were delivered to the subject property, so where the roof replacement was taking place. As the Fortified roofing program has gained popularity, I'll talk specifically here in North Carolina, in the coastal areas where it primarily applies. One of the insurers for wind and hail here in coastal North Carolina is the North Carolina Insurance Underwriters Association. And they have been offering for the past several years a grant for folks that would consider installing a fortified roof on their home to replace their existing roof. And that grant amount has varied. It's been from up to $6,000 to up to $10,000 most recently. That money goes directly to the homeowner, again, in exchange for them agreeing to have a contractor to replace their existing roof with a fortified roof. I would say that if you aren't sure whether you're insured by NCIUA or whether you may have another wind and hail insurance company that your homeowner's insurance company used to underwrite the wind and hail, that you can reach out to the homeowner's insurance company and ask them who the underwriter is, or you can go and make a phone call to NCIUA and see if they have record of your address being in their system. But I will tell you that one thing that insurance companies have been doing, even if they're not NCIUA, is if you produce a fortified roof certificate stating that your home has been, stating that the roof on your home has been replaced with a fortified roof, then there are potentially some discounts ongoing for your wind and hail insurance premiums. So that is another advantage to a fortified roof, is that there's potential for possible savings on your homeowner's wind and hail insurance. If you're interested in learning more about getting a fortified roof for your home, please reach out to us here at Motion Contracting.